Magnitudes, intensity, epicenter, fault lines. There are some of the words that we hear on news every now and then when a certain place experiences shaking or trembling of the ground. Today, we are going to learn about one of the Earth's internal processes, earthquake. What is an earthquake? An earthquake is a sudden and violent shaking of the ground, sometimes causing great destructions, as a result of movement within the Earth's crust or volcanic actions. It is a natural geologic phenomena caused by sudden and rapid movement of large volume of rocks. To explain how an earthquake happens, let us take a look at the surface of the Earth. The surface of the Earth is divided into puzzle-like pieces of the crust and the upper mantle called tectonic plates. When two tectonic plates bump or slide against each other, an earthquake is produced. These tectonic plates are constantly moving, though the impacts are usually unnoticeable on the surface. However, great stress can build up between plates. When this stress is released quickly, it sends massive vibrations that reach the surface of the Earth that causes the ground to shake. Faults are usually the starting sites of earthquakes. Faults are slip or cracks in the Earth's crust. Faults are usually found along the edges of plates where crust moves in different directions. At times, when plates become locked together and energy builds up. When a rock underground suddenly breaks along a fault, the energy is released in the form of seismic waves that makes the ground shake. Strong earthquakes are usually followed by numerous tremors called the aftershocks. In contrast to these aftershocks, small earthquakes called foreshocks usually precede a major earthquake by days. There are also some other causes of earthquakes aside from tectonic movements. Volcanic activities can also trigger movements within the Earth, causing weak and sometimes strong earthquakes. Human activities, such as conducting nuclear testing, can also produce what we call man-made earthquakes. But most of the destructive ones are usually caused by plate tectonics. Averaging 1,000 times a day worldwide, earthquakes happen, but we can feel most of it because the energy given off by the quake is too small and can only be detected by sensitive instruments such as the seismographs. This energy released by the earthquake is called the magnitude and can be measured using the Richter scale. Earthquakes with magnitude of 3 to 5 is considered minor or light. 5 to 7 is moderate to strong. 7 to 8 is major. And 8 or more is great. On the other hand, intensity refers to the effects and destruction caused by the earthquake and can be measured using the Mercalli scale. The point where the earthquake originated is called the focus, and the point on the ground that is directly above the focus is called the epicenter. These are the terms that we usually hear on the news when an earthquake happens at a certain place. Most earthquakes occur along the edges of the oceanic and continental plates where there is usually an active transform fault. Some of the earthquake-prone countries are Indonesia, Turkey, Mexico, El Salvador, Pakistan, Ecuador, India, Nepal, Japan, and even our own country, the Philippines. The Philippines belong to the Pacific Ring of Fire, where 80% of all the planet's earthquakes occur. This is a major area in the basin of the Pacific Ocean where a large number of earthquakes and volcanic eruptions occur as a result of plate tectonics. In our country, we are expecting a large earthquake called as the Big One, which could be triggered by the movements along the West Valley Fault. The West Valley Fault is one of the two major fault segments of the Valley Fault system in the Philippines, which run through Metro Manila to the cities of Marikina, Quezon City, Pasig, Makati, Taguig, and Muntinlupa, and moves in strike-slip motion. The West Valley Fault was resolved to be fully locked, meaning it is currently accumulating and loading energy and possesses threat of a large-scale earthquake with an estimated magnitude of as high as 7.6 that will be known as the Big One. We've seen a lot of big earthquakes in the news, the recent one in Batangas and Manila. with the volume of the population in Metro Manila of 12.8 million, can you imagine the effects and consequences of the so-called The Big One, which has been talked about for some time as the most destructive earthquake that will hit Manila? According to Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology, the Valley Fault System showed that the big quake will pass through the dense Metro Manila area and can shake the neighboring provinces. PHIVOX also said that NCR will face isolation from nearby provinces because of collapsed roads and buildings. The fault systems from north to south and east to west will get the greatest threat. Earthquakes are unpredictable, so we have to be ready at all times. Loss of life can be prevented through emergency planning, education, and the construction of buildings that sway rather than break under the stress of an earthquake. Furthermore, here are some of the preventive measures before, during, and after an earthquake.